Happy Friday! I made it to Friday, and I made it to, well, I haven't actually technically made this video yet, but I'm doing it. It's like 4:38 and I'm just getting going Uber driving. I spent the morning at home, well, the whole day really, sitting on the couch, laying on the couch, actually. Insert pictures here. Because I wasn't like, I'm just feeling run down and tired, and I feel like, I was saying before, like, I got tested. Life tests us when we rise to the, next level of something, or like push our comfort zone. And definitely doing these vlogs every day has been pushing my comfort zone. So of course, like, it's been snowy all week. And the whole situation with, like, on Wednesday with, like, the YouTube content thing, and then the going to court and dealing with some of that stuff. Like, of course I'm getting tested. And then my son he's fine. But he rarely gets sick, so he's not, he's not feeling well. And then I, worry about, like, I want to take a little more easy. I don't want to, like, burn the candles at both ends for myself either. So, like, just, like, taking everything a little bit easier. But I'm doing it. I'm determined. I'm here. I'm sticking to my word. It was really nice just to chill this morning, and Friday night is actually, like, the good money making time, well, all day Friday. And I'm also not stressing the money. That's the beauty of it. Like, yes, I have, like, things I need to, like, bills that need to get paid and stuff like that, but I don't ever like letting money, like, stress me out too much. So I was thinking about that too on the couch, of just being, again, grateful for the flexibility of delivery driving. And I've been thinking a lot about today's topic and our final vlog for the week. Although I'm enjoying these, I might keep doing them, but I'm probably not gonna commit to Monday through Friday. It'll probably be, like, just more frequently. But I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna complete this one first. So I have to turn the phone off and turn DoorDash on, or Uber, or whichever, or both, and I will be right back. So I think we'll jump right into today's topic, and that is growth. Because I definitely had to push myself this week. I knew already, trying to do, like, long days of Uber driving and recording myself doing it, that's a challenge in and of itself, because it means that I'm talking, I'm, like, recording myself. Like, sometimes I just want quiet. Like I said before, I think sometimes I just want to play music, and it's like doing two things at once. Like, I'm doing DoorDash or whatever, and then I'm also doing, like, the creation of a video. So it's a little bit tiring. So I knew that in itself was going to be challenging, but then on top of it, to, like, have all the snowstorms, and then feeling like I was getting run down physically, and, like, a little worried about that, which I now feel rested after. But yeah, what I didn't expect, I mean, I guess I kind of did, but not to the extent, was like the my kind of, like, emotional resistance to doing this, and feeling like challenging myself in terms of, like, putting it out there with, like, the self-worth stuff. Like, do I have anything of value to offer? And, or if I was, like, in a bad mood or frustrated, it's like, who wants to hear about this? Or you know, feeling like maybe it was just boring. Feeling like I was tired of hearing myself talking. Like all this stuff that I didn't really expect that to come up. I didn't even think about it beforehand. And so that's the unexpected kind of discomfort that I didn't prepare for. That kind of was like more than the snowstorm, more than anything else. That was the biggest discomfort. It was like, I keep putting myself out there, and then to have like the whole thing with like on Tuesday's video, what I was talking about, I felt like it got kind of like boxed in, and just what that brought up in me, and I ended up privatizing the video actually, because it just was a little emotional, and then I started second guessing everything I was saying, and I don't know, it was out too far out of my comfort zone. So that's the topic, is growth, because I've definitely made growth this week. So, and I've been thinking a lot about that today, kind of like my process of this week. And I think, so when I learned about this thing. I think it's like the zone of proximal development. It's kind of like a overly complicated way of saying like the area of growth. But when I was in school to learn about teaching, we learned about the zone of proximal development, and I think it's like Howard Gardner, I don't know. Maybe I have to stop because of the pickup. I'm gonna look that up, just so I'm making sure I'm like giving credit due where credit's due. So when I was in the restaurant waiting for the order, I looked it up, and it's not Howard Gardner, it's Vygotsky is the one that I think coined the term zone of proximal development, although the concept is nothing new, but I just wanted to give credit for keep everything, whatever, proper. But the concept is the idea, like for growth. It applies to growth, and actually it applies to like kids and like their area of learning. And so imagine like a Venn diagram, which is two overlapping circles, and then there's an area where the two circles overlap. And so one circle has in it what kids know, and the other circle has in it what kids don't know, and then there's an area where they overlap, and that's the teaching area. That's where you want to kind of work with, because they're using what they know and building on it and getting kind of stretching and growing what their knowledge base into that area of what they don't know. And if it's like too far into what they don't know, they won't be able to like make the ties and the connections. And so I loved that concept, and I think that it applies to so much. It's not like just applicable to kids, or just applicable to learning. And so I've been just thinking a lot about comfort zone and growing past that and getting but it's hard because if you get too uncomfortable, at least for me, if I am too in the realm of something that's if it's too uncomfortable to me, it creates anxiety, because I'm it feels like I'm out in open water and there's nothing familiar to kind of hold on to. So today I've been thinking about that. For example, in the area that I feel comfortable, what I would put in my circle of what I'm comfortable with is, knowing what to expect, like what the expectations are, helps me feel comfortable. That's one. I think knowing that I'm safe is one. So feeling safe, knowing that I'm safe. And that kind of also includes like knowing I'm not going to get hurt, whether it's physically, emotionally. There's different ways of getting hurt. And the feeling of safety, I think, that kind of includes like physical comforts, like staying warm and having food to eat and being dry, and knowing that I won't be disrupted while I'm sleeping. Things like that help feel safe in terms of like survival comforts. And then I think emotionally it's like knowing that I won't get hurt, knowing that I won't end up feeling, betrayed or hurt or whatever emotionally. So that safety can kind of cover a lot of things. And I think the last one, I'm just going to use 3 to kind of work with and show examples. I'm sure I could come up with more, but I'm trying to show a 3, but I'm driving with one hand, so it's 3. It's not safe to pull my hand off the wheel. Anyway, so the last one I think that I'll do is familiar. It helps me feel comfortable if things are familiar, and I think some of that ties into like knowing what to expect, but it's more than that. It's it's like, so when things are familiar, that just helps me feel comfortable, whether it's like my car or my sleeping space or people in my life or a routine. So we'll just use that. So then in the area that I'm uncomfortable with, to piggyback off those 3, it would be not knowing what to expect, not feeling safe, and then being unfamiliar. So those are the 2: comfortable, uncomfortable. Now there's an area where they overlap. Like for example, let's say at a job that I know and I like, and I'm familiar with the people, and I kind of know the expectations of the job there, and it's not getting me outside of my comfort zone in terms of safety or what to expect. But what I'm familiar with, then say I have a new coworker that I work closely with. That puts me into that area of unfamiliar. And I'm just speaking for me. These are the 3 things that I put on my list. Like what makes you uncomfortable or comfortable. You might have different things in your help you feel comfortable. So, take my job that I've been at, and I know what to expect. I know the routine. I know that, I'm safe there physically, like it's, not a crazy environment, and that, I feel safe with the community at the work. But then say there's a new coworker that, who I work really closely with that I don't know. And so that's pushing my comfort zone a little bit because I'm not familiar, and it's going to take me time. Is this somebody, it takes a while for something to become familiar. That's one way. Or let's say that it's all the same people from work. It's all familiar. It's the same environment. And I know what to, same people, same environment, but there's like a fire alarm all of a sudden, like somehow the fire drill goes off. There's a safety issue and we have to evacuate the building. That pushes me out of my comfort zone a little bit because it's like, am I safe? Like, it's same people. We've gone over the drill of what to do. I know what to expect, but I'm not sure that I'm safe. So that pushes me outside of my comfort zone, but not too far out. Hold on. Head west, turn left. All right, I gotta come back in a minute. Now that's my kind of delivery where it's not too far. It was really high paying, $15 tip. And the person was outside their apartment building waiting when I pulled up. Pleasant interaction, handoff, have a great night, all that, and then a $15 tip. Yes, let's get it. That's my kind of delivery. The only thing about driving around on Friday nights, especially around dinner time, everybody's a little willy-nilly. People driving a little hectic, they're ready to be home. Let's see, it's 5:20, so it's like prime, like rush hour. And then there's people like going out to eat, and they just want to like hurry up and get to the restaurant, crossing streets, not in crosswalks. And I've noticed that Friday nights it's a little hectic. Gotta kind of like be aware of surroundings and stuff. Which I get it. Friday night, I remember when I used to work Monday through Friday night. Well, actually the last few years it was like, I'm going home, I'm starting a fire, and I'm sitting on the couch. But you know, definitely there's almost like an expectation of like doing something exciting, and so everybody's kind of got this little bit of a frantic vibe to them. So I'm probably only gonna record when I'm stopped for safety reasons. So I guess driving around downtown Tacoma recording on a Friday night is too far into that I'm uncomfortable with it zone. It's not like stretching a little, it's like I'm uncomfortable with it. So now I'm stopped outside the pickup. I don't think the baby steps get enough credit that we take. I don't think the baby steps in life get enough credit. I think we want everything to be so instant. Everything, it seems like these days, just instant. Faster phone, faster internet, faster cars, faster way of getting from point A to point B. And that includes like when we make changes in our lives or changes within ourselves. And sometimes we can get frustrated when it's like, you know, the progress isn't as fast as we think, or, you know, it's like, oh, there's all this growth and then stuff comes up. And I think that it's really important to honor the baby steps and the progress, that stuff that's in between the area where we are, you know, of what we know and what we don't know, and what we're comfortable with and what we're uncomfortable with. Like that area of growth right in there in the middle, the baby steps land in that. And I think I'm thinking about that because of like with this YouTube stuff and doing that this week. And it's like I've been pushing myself since I started, and I got comfortable making kind of like edited videos with lots of nature, not too many pictures of myself, not expressing too many opinions. But this week I've been pushed, and I pushed myself, I think, a little too into the I'm uncomfortable with this zone. Actually, I don't think I think I began to, and I think what really kind of like pushed me over was like that the thing I was talking about, the context, like here's our definition thing, really pushed it into the uncomfortable zone, because then I, you know, I'm second guessing myself, and because I don't know what the expectations are, and that's one of the things on my comfort thing. And so I'm already in the like, this isn't quite familiar. I'm like working kind of like in between the familiar and the unfamiliar. And I think that I felt unsafe emotionally too, like when I felt criticized and I didn't know the expectations. It causes anxiety. It was too far in that I'm uncomfortable with this. But I've managed to get back in there and into the middle area, and I think I gotta give myself credit for the baby steps of like actually doing this week, and sticking with it, and working through the discomfort. I guess like when thinking about growth, again, to be easy on ourselves and to acknowledge the baby steps, give credit to the baby steps. And sometimes the baby steps is actually where the most growth can happen, because it's a connection between what we know and what we don't know, what we're comfortable with and what we're uncomfortable with. It's kind of in that in-between area. And so we're able to use that idea of connecting the pieces together and we're not like so far out in our area of what we don't know or what we're not comfortable with that we feel anxious or lost or out at sea, to use a phrase. But it's kind of right in that middle where I think actually the optimal growth can take place. So I think it's important to remember not to be too hard on ourselves when wanting to grow. And I think, for anybody trying something new, whether it's like a change in lifestyle, whether it's a job change, a new relationship, a move somewhere, anything that they're trying to incorporate that's new, to maybe make that chart of what you could do, what you know and what you don't know, but you could also do what you're comfortable with and what you're uncomfortable with, as a kind of use what you're comfortable with, what helps you feel comfortable. And therefore, if expectations help me feel comfortable, not having expectations will make me feel uncomfortable. And make the same list, and then think about that. And so that when you're working with yourself, recognize that you'll need some of those things that help you, that or that you're comfortable with in your growth process. It's not like you just give up all those things that or all those things that you're comfortable with to make the growth happen. So you could even make the own chart and write stuff down. And I'm driving because I'm not downtown Tacoma, so I'm back in an area where I feel comfortable. I know I checked the map, and there are no drastic turns. I know kind of where I'm headed, and it's not like a downtown area where there's a lot of traffic and pedestrians. So I'm back into that area where I'm comfortable with recording and driving. I think that's my reflection after a week. I did push myself, and I did get outside of my comfort zone a little bit too far into the what I don't know or what I'm not comfortable with area of my personal chart, my personal growth chart, or zone of proximal development chart, or whatever you want to call it, my Venn diagram. At one point, and I wanted to put this down. I did want to stop. I almost didn't do it today, and I was like, well, I can use like that. I'm not, wanting to push myself, or I could say that, I could think of a lot of excuses. I could have thought of a lot of excuses this week. I could have used the snow as an excuse. But I didn't want to. I don't want to use excuses. I wanted to stick with it, and there's always a learning in everything. And so my learning this week with doing this was a lot of learning, but also just to acknowledge the baby steps and the progress, and recognize that growth is happening, progress is being made, and it's an enjoyable process. It's kind of fun when it's in that area that pushes us but doesn't push us so far that we're uncomfortable. It's really actually an enjoyable thing to grow. Have a good night. I feel like this is like some big conclusion, but I will be back again soon. And again, I know I will, because I like to keep my word.